Very good evening, participants. A warm welcome to you all in this wonderful evening. இந்த மாலை பொழுதுல உங்களை வரவேற்கிறதுல ரொம்ப சந்தோஷப்படுறேன். இது ஒரு வித்தியாசமான ஒரு நிகழ்வு. இதுல உங்களை வரவேற்கிறதுல சந்தோஷத்தோடு I like to welcome the legend of this day, the legend Dr. Robert B. Grubb.
Good evening.
Well, good evening, sir, and welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Along with sir, நம்மளோட மேம் இருக்கிறாங்க, ஷைலஜா ராபர்ட் கிரப் இருக்கிறாங்க. We welcome you to ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Few words, sir பத்தி சார் அவங்களோட லைஃப், அவங்களோட ஜேர்னி இன் ஆர்னித்தாலஜி தான் ஷேர் பண்ணுவாங்க. பிஃபோர் தட் நான் அதை டச் பண்ணாம என்னோட குருவை பத்தி ஒரு சில வார்த்தைகள் மட்டும் நான் சொல்லி சார் இந்த பிளாட்ஃபார்முக்கு கொடுக்கறதுக்கு ஆசைப்படுறேன். ப்ளீஸ் பெர்மிட் மீ சார், allow me to talk.
Much about me, please.
இல்ல சார், என் லைஃப்ல என் கூட என்னோட குருவை பத்தி தான் கொஞ்சம். எனக்கு கிரப் சார் 25 years I met 25 years back. அப்பத்துல எனக்கு ஒரு இன்ஸ்பிரேஷன், என்னோட ரோல் மாடல், என்னோட கெரியர் ரோல் மாடல் எல்லாமே நான் டாக்டர் ராபர்ட் பி கிரப் சார் தான் நான் எடுத்துக்கிட்டேன். 7th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட்ல ஒரு பேர்ட் வாட்சிங் ட்ரிப் எங்க ஸ்கூல்ல அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணிருந்தாங்க சார். 7th டே அட்வென்ச்சர் ஸ்கூல் நாகர்கோயில்ல பென்சாம்ல இருக்குது. அப்போ சார் கூட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மீட்டிங். ஆனா சார் யாருன்னு தெரியாது, someone is taking us, அந்த மாதிரி தான் நானும் ஃபில்டர் போயிட்டு வந்தோம். அந்த நாள்ல இருந்து the entire thing changed. நான் பேர்ட்ஸ் அனிமல்ஸ் பத்தின புக்ஸ் பின்னாடியே நடக்கிறதுக்கு அங்க இருக்கிற ஒரு குட்டி லைப்ரரி நாகர்கோயில் இருந்தது. அந்த லைப்ரரியில பேர்ட்ஸ் புக்கை மட்டும் எடுத்து பார்ப்பேன், அனிமல்ஸ் புக்கை மட்டும் எடுத்து பார்ப்பேன்னா அதுக்கு மெயின் முழு காரணமும் சாரோட அந்த ஒரு ஹாஃப் டே செஷன், நான் ஸ்கூலுக்கு நடத்தின அந்த ஹாஃப் டே செஷன். அதுல இருந்து சார் கூட சார் மாதிரியே நானும் பேர்ட்ஸ் மேல பாசம் வைக்கணும், ஸ்டடி பண்ணணுங்கிற ஆசை ஏற்பட்டது. அது மட்டும் இல்ல, என்னோட பிஎஸ்சி படிக்கிற சமயம் என்னோட ப்ராஜெக்டுக்காக சார் அப்ரோச் பண்றதுக்கு எனக்கு கிருபாண்ணா ஹெல்ப் பண்ணாங்க. கிருபாண்ணா மூலமா நான் சார் கூட போய் பார்த்துட்டு, சார் அதுக்கப்புறம் எனக்கு அப்பதான் பேர்ட் எப்படி ஸ்டடி பண்ணணுங்கிறதெல்லாம் நோட்ல எழுதி கொடுத்து எங்களை ஃபுல்லா கைட் பண்ணாங்க. எங்களோட டீம் ஃபுல்லா கைட் பண்ணாங்க. ஃப்ரம் அப்பத்துல இருந்தே சார் கூடயே நான் ட்ராவல் பண்றதுக்கு, அப்பப்போ மீட் பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல சான்ஸ் கிடைச்சது. He is a great ornithologist. உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், he will be sharing the entire life with us. அவங்களோட வாழ்க்கையில பயணங்கள்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க. அது மட்டும் இல்ல, he is a great author. நான் இப்படி ஒரு ஆத்தர் நான் இதுவரை பார்த்தது கிடையாது. அவங்க ஒரு புக் எழுதியிருக்கிறாங்க, வெட்லேண்ட் பேர்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் தமிழ்நாடு. அந்த புக்ல ஸ்பெஷாலிட்டி என்னன்னா, நிறைய பேர் புக் எழுதுறாங்க, நிறைய பேர் புக் பப்ளிஷ் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கிறாங்க. இதுல இருக்கிற யூனிக்னஸ் என்னன்னா, அந்த புக்கோட ஒவ்வொரு இன்ச் பை இன்ச், ஒவ்வொரு பாயிண்ட் பை பாயிண்ட், ஒவ்வொரு போட்டோவையும் அவங்க கலெக்ட் பண்ணி அதை கட் பண்ணி ஒவ்வொரு பிசர் இல்லாம சரியா கரெக்டா எப்படி கட் பண்ணணும் அவ்வளவு ஜூம் பண்ணி எடிட் பண்ணது. கவர் பேஜ்ல இருந்து A to Z பிரிண்ட்டுக்கு மட்டும்தான் சார் வெளியில அனுப்புனாங்க. மற்றபடி அந்த புக் கம்ப்ளீட் ஒர்க் ஆஃப் சார். இது எத்தனை ரைட்டர்ஸ் அப்படி பண்ண முடியுங்கிறது தெரியல, எத்தனை ரைட்டர்ஸ் இதோட அப்படி பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னு தெரியாது. நிறைய புக்ஸ் பாக்குறோம். ஆனா வெட்லேண்ட் பேர்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் தமிழ்நாடு பை டாக்டர் ராபர்ட் பி கிரப் இஸ் வெரி யூனிக் பிகாஸ் இட் இஸ் complete work of sir. அதனால I love that book a lot. அது மட்டும் இல்ல, தமிழுக்கு மேல ரொம்ப பற்று இருக்கிறது சாருக்கு. அதனால அவங்க ஒரு 500 அழகான புக் எழுதியிருக்கிறாங்க. கட்டமிழ் இந்த தமிழ் மொழின்ட்டு ஒரு அழகான புக், தமிழ் லாங்குவேஜ் அன்சாக்கிள்னு ஒரு சூப்பரான ஒரு புக் எழுதியிருக்கிறாங்க. அதுவும் நீங்க இப்ப சான்ஸ் கிடைச்சுன்னா நீங்க அமேசான்ல கிடைக்குது, நீங்க வாங்கி வாசித்து பார்க்கலாம். ஒரு யூடியூப் வீடியோ பண்ணிருக்கிறாங்க, ஹவு டு ப்ரொனவுன்ஸ் சம் தமிழ் லெட்டர்ஸ். நம்ம பண்ற தமிழ் லெட்டர்ஸ் பேசுறதுல என்னென்ன தப்பு பிழைகள் போடுறோம், அந்த பிழைகளை எப்படி சரி பண்ணலாங்கிற தெளிவா ஒரு வீடியோ வச்சிருக்கிறாங்க, வெளியிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. அதுவும் நீங்க லிங்க் நம்ம அனுப்புறேன், நீங்க பார்க்கலாம். So he's a wonderful person and he's the right person for this talk, the Legends talk. நான் நிறைய நேரம் சாரை பற்றி எடுத்துக்காம I give this platform to my guru, Robert B. Grubb, sir. Please welcome you, sir. The platform is yours, and dear madams.
Thank you, Professor Anthony, for the introduction. 2 minutes of it. Never mind. Start with the PowerPoint, so you can go from
Thank you, sir.
10 minutes within time. I'll share the screen now. Please stand by. So this is about my journey through ornithology in the world so far. I started having some encounter with bird life when I was in the 5th standard. In Kulasekaram, that is in Kanyakumari district. I don't know how many of you know where Kulasekaram is. It's at the base of Pechupare, the southern part of the Western Ghats. So there, father was a medical doctor, and also he was an avid hunter also. He used to like those days. Before 1972, it was 1952. That time there was no Wildlife Act. Wildlife was abundant everywhere. So we had a house in Kulasekaram, and behind the house, there was a huge bush of Udapu. You know Udapu in Tamil, English they call it morning glory, and scientific name Ipomea cornea. So this thing used to be there in large amount. So when I was a small kid, I used to go inside this bush and crawl through the darkness of it. I liked that going through the deep jungles. But since as a boy I was not allowed to go to the jungle, I used to hide inside. Nobody knew where I would be. So I would be going through this. உள்ள அந்த புதற்குள்ள ஒளிச்சு கிரால் பண்ணி போகும்போது அங்கே திடீர்னு ஒரு அழகான பேர்ட் பார்த்தேன் கிரவுண்ட் லெவலில். அதே மாதிரி எனக்கு உலகத்தில் நான் அந்த இவ்வளோ பியூட்டிஃபுல் பேர்ட் ஐ நெவர் சீன் பிஃபோர். And it was so close to me, it wasn't flying away from me. So as I was crawling, I tried to reach out with my hand and we were going very close. Within inches, the bird would be there. Then you to just step away from my hand and kept going, and I went I crawled through for several feet and finally came out of it because it wouldn't let me catch it. So that was etched in my head all the time. I never told anybody. So later on, several years later, when I went to Bombay, there I looked at the books and I found it was this bird. How do you like this bird? Nalla irukudla? Beautiful bird, the Indian Pitra. So in addition to this thing, I used to see a lot of birds around the house. Those days, there was no rubber plantation at that time in this private land. There was only Aini Maram and then a lot of other things and everything. So that time, these birds used to be plentiful, like the bird on the left side, that paradise flycatcher, male, and then that bulbul, red-whiskered bulbul, and the black-headed oriole and many other species of birds like many birds and so on. It was an enjoyable time I had. Then finally, I had to go for my higher studies to Scott Christian College in Nagarkoil. Those who looked at it, this is several years ago, this photo was taken, black and white picture. What you see on the left side is not that, not the college. On the right side, you can see that this low compound where somebody is sitting and a lot of trees there. And the backdrop is that Pechupara Hills or Velimale, whatever it is. And on the right side where the people are sitting at the compound, that is that Scott Christian College used to be, where I had 4 years of my stint in life. Beautiful place, good experience. And there I had one wonderful man, Professor Chandra Sen. Professor Chandra Sen was my zoology teacher. He used to be a man of passion with nature and subjects very much. And whenever I went to college for the zoology class, I would just think this is like eating chocolate, better than eating chocolate. So happy it was to attend this zoology class and then listen to him. And he used to take a lot of interest in me. And I used to look for a lot of bird life like these things. And then I found some of them are very intricate, very fascinating and puzzling birds, like this little grebe or the dabchick on the left top. So that's what is the strange about it was I had a specimen of it collected, and then I found that the legs were very far behind. You can see on the right side the underwater picture of the diving dabchick swimming. You can see the legs very far behind, and you see the one bird on the bottom that also swimming on in the water with the leg far behind. The one at the bottom is Hesperornis, the prehistoric bird. The one on top is the one I saw. So according to my small brain, I thought that was another prehistoric bird that is found in this Nagarkoil or Nagarkoil area. So that is something that we need to identify. So then I went to Professor Chandrasen. I asked him, sir, tell me what species it is. He said, Robert, you don't know? I also don't know. This Dr. Salim Ali in Bombay Natural History Society knows about it. So you like to go there and see. I thought, my God, now how am I going to go to Bombay Natural History Society? Then another bird. What you see on the left side, you all must have seen. This is the pheasant-tailed jasana. And this the female bird, which is dominant in this polyandrous birds like pheasant-tailed jasana, it's got a spur on this upper wing over this place and over the shoulder, which is hidden now under the feathers actually. So I took a skeletal system of the bird and studied it. I found there was a spur there. Then I found that Archaeopteryx, which is at the bottom, that also has got a spur there, spine there. I thought, now this must be a prehistoric bird. Again, Professor Chandrasen said, you have to better go to Bombay Natural History Society. So that's the place. And then before I went to, how I went to Bombay Natural History Society was, I was cleaning that, the cow dung from that backyard where we had a cow shed. So that time my mother called me, shouted aloud, and she said, there is a advertisement in your Bombay Natural History Society in the Hindu newspaper, please come and see. I went and saw, that was great. They said they will give me a train fare to go to Bombay to attend the interview there. I thought that is my Mecca, let me go there. I packed my things and went to Bombay, and they appointed me as a research assistant and also enrolled me for doing my higher studies there later on. So this Bombay Natural History Society had this great man, my mentor, Dr. Salim Ali. This man was old ever since, so he was called old man. That time I was young, but now I become like him or more than that. Never mind, there are a lot of things to talk about him. So I learned a lot of things out of him. And through the Bombay Natural History Society, I went to many expeditions, including bird surveys, bird binding, and so on. We will talk take a few minutes for one or two attempts, and then proceed because there's not much of time is available. Now, these projects were bird surveys and bird migration studies, conservation ecology. No, one second, there's a, okay. Yeah, bird surveys, bird migration studies, conservation ecology, applied ecology, and to some extent conservation education with the help of Shailaja. Now, first bird survey was in Goa. Goa is a wonderful place, and there they had the Portuguese people who owned it. They had protected the forest like anything. They did not cut the trees to make rubber plantation or anything. So when we went there, once you go into the forest, it is like going to another world. All dark place. And it was like that Hypomia and Carnia where I went and crawled. But this is a big place you can walk over, and everything is dark inside. You could see the flying lizards flying around and birds singing. Wonderful bird species like this, the crimson sunbird. What a gorgeous sight, you know. Nature is so beautiful, not like domestic chicken, which is fed with steroids and so on. Then another survey was, anyway, this place, after we did this Goa study, we made recommendation to the government to protect these areas, a place called Kanakona and Mollam and so on. There the government made sanctuaries out of this place, they protected it. Otherwise, the timber lords would be cutting away all the forest and destroy them, and along with this bird also will go. Then other one was bird survey in Andamans and Nicobar Islands. That was very nice. It was. That also, of course, got me malaria for 10 years, because that time nobody knew what it was malaria in Bombay. So I went to Bombay, to Andaman Nicobars, and went by boat in many places and studied the natural areas. They're a wonderful place. It's full of tropical forest. Outside the forest, there will be no rain. But when you walk through inside the forest, through the forest, you'll see rainfall coming and drying, but yet you don't feel any problem about it. And the bird life was so beautiful, so wonderful it was. So one of the species was this, the Nicobar pigeon, lovely species. It's something like the size of our common pigeon, what we see here, Pura, Madapura, but slightly bigger. And I went and saw this bird in Batimal Island, one of the small islands in Nicobar Island groups. And there the bird was so tame, I could almost go very close to the bird. It wouldn't get alarmed at all. Nice bird. I had to collect, unfortunately, some of them for specimens for Bombay Naturality Society and took them away. And it's a rare species. And this particular island, Batimal Island, was being used by Navy people for target practice without knowing such a beautiful bird was there. So after we went and made the study, we recommended to the government of India to stop this shelling and protect this bird, that island, as a protected monument, and they looked after it afterwards. Then another place I went was Northkondam Island in Andamans. Northkondam Island is a small island, again, with a hill there, and that's the only place you get this hornbill, called Northkondam hornbill. It's a unique species found only there. And I was the first person to visit this island after about, by an ornithologist, after about 80 or 90 years. The birds were still there in plenty, and we studied them and made some recommendations also. Then, of course, many other islands we went to, including the Great Nicobars and so on, and collected a lot of information and came to Bombay Naturality Society, and that helped in providing data for the book Handbook of Indian Birds that was prepared by Dr. Salim Ali. Then, what a wonderful bird it is. The Monal pheasant. Monal pheasant is from Eastern Himalayas, and it's found in Bhutan. I saw it in Bhutan, that comes outside the Indian territory. And also it's found in Arunachal Pradesh and all that. But Bhutan, it was found in higher altitudes, a lovely species, along with some other pheasants like that silver pheasant and so on. Now this peacock pheasant was found in Arunachal Pradesh in large numbers. We collected specimens also. It's a lovely species, one of the beautiful pheasants of the world, peacock pheasant. I'm holding one peacock pheasant. It's an old faded picture I found out. Does it look like me? Robert Grab? Yeah, the beard is still there.
But color is.
The color is gone. So you people also become like that one day. Never mind. Then went to Malaysia. They called me to go to the Borneo Island, that's in Sarawak state, to study the birds of Lanjak Intimo Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a totally protected area. The forest was always raining. You had to go in the rain, and you had to put hammocks in a small tent and put a hammock and sleep there. And there would be leeches all over, sucking your blood. But with all the things, it was so enjoyable. We could see so many species of birds, and took some photographs also, and caught a lot of birds and didn't kill them, but we put bands bird banding was done for many of them. During that time, we took a lot of measurements and studied the characteristics of these birds. The one you see here on the right side is the Bornean blue flycatcher. Then other studies included bird migration studies, bird banding. The method was bird banding, and then the objective was bird migration to know where the birds went. Those days, before 1950 and all that, people knew that many birds are found during winter months, and after that they are not found. So where they go? So Dr. Salim Ali, with the help of World Health Organization, he started a project called Bird Migration Project, and where we used to, I joined later on, not 1955, I joined in 1962, 64, 65, that time, 64th September actually, first time I went to Bihar, where we caught these birds and put rings on them and released them in thousands and thousands. And through my hand alone, more than 1.5 lakhs of birds had gone through. And I helped the Bombay Natural History Society to computerize this bird banding data for the first time. Those days, there was nothing about what is computer, nobody knew. It was only known as a calculator, nothing more. Then later on, IBM brought computer, and it was through that Center for Software Technology in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. I went there and got them to make magnetic sense cards, like that punch card system. You don't know all about it. It's a very old technology. Anyway, so we did study that in Bihar, Manjol Lake, Rajasthan, Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, and Tamil Nadu, many places, and Sarawak, East Malaysia also. So bird migration study, this is a bird banding was done for a grey pelican in Kundakulam. That looks like me already. And the results included many species of birds which are found astonishingly in different places. Some bird as small as little stint, weighing only 26 grams, flying all the way from Tamil Nadu all the way to Arctic Circle, as far as it can go, long, long distance. Of course, nowadays they'd use satellite tracking, put satellite tags on the birds, and then radio tags, and there can be detected. Even one bird is enough to show the route where they go. So nowadays they have found out even birds going from New Zealand all the way to Alaska, more than 10,000 kilometers distance, non-stop, mind you, non-stop. So these are intriguing things. We can talk about it some other day. Today we have no time for that. Then another study was association of vultures and lions in the Gir forest. This was done for conservation of lion actually. Lion population was getting very less in the Gir in India. We went to around 250 lions from large numbers. So there was a big project called Gir project through the Yale University and Bombay Natural History Society. And I went as an ornithologist. So I bargained for doing my PhD on the peacock. They said, no, you can't do peacock there. You should study vultures. Vultures because that is got association with the lion because it eats the carcasses and dead bodies. And the lion kills also. I said, why should I study this stinking vulture? I will study the peacock. Then they said, go ahead, you try. So I tried vultures and peacock for 2 months together. Then I suddenly found that vulture is more fascinating bird. Wonderful species. So I spent 2 years studying these vultures and got my thesis out of it. I did my PhD research also on that and studied a lot about these vultures. And that led to my study of applied ecology, that is bird hazard aircraft study that I'll talk about later. Then went to Malaysia, West Malaysia, near Kuala Lumpur, where there was a national wetland called Paya Indah. So I was sent there to give them conservation recommendation for that place. I was spent 6 months there. We made a study and gave recommendation for that place. And then, of course, Kanyakumari district, which was very close to my heart. That's the reason I came all the way from Bombay, leaving my job there to Nagarkoil, settled down here to protect these wetlands of Tamil Nadu, particularly that belonging to Kanyakumari district, Tirunelveli and Thoothukudi areas. So we did a long-term study of wetlands in Suchindram, Therur, Manakudi and all that thing, and made some recommendation to the government. This is part of Therur, Tatyarkulam area where I am standing. And this is the map of the place which we studied. You can see my pointer going around. So this is that Therur complex, which includes Tatyar, Manikaputheri, Therur east and west, then Suchindram, and Parakekulam, Palkulam, and also Manakudi Kayal. All these things together, they recommended that they make a sanctuary. Anyway, government finally notified it as a conservation reserve with a notification, and this work is underway for developing this area. We help the government in by giving advice to them regularly. And then the product of this study and the bird banding study and all together was how to identify bird life, particularly wetland birds, and the minute differences between species. So that was done by what Professor Anthony said by this book called Wetland Birds of Tamil Nadu or Tamilagathil Nirpala Paravaigal. Then this is the one that was based offshoot of my vulture study in the Gir forest. The bird hazard to aircraft. Of course, I made a small booklet called Potential Problem Birds of Indian Aerodromes, but it's got a photograph of an aeroplane and a bunch of a huge flock of birds. What happens is that, it's called a bird strike to aircraft. When a bird strikes aircraft, although the aircraft is huge, bird small, it can cause serious damage, not only to the aircraft, fatal damage to the life of the pilots and passengers also. What happens is that in passenger planes, I got at least 2 engines. So when one engine gets damaged, the other engine works and then they land safely, although there's a costly damage. But Air Force aircraft, the pilots are at the best of their ability, trained well, around 27 to 33 years life. They are in fighter mode. And those people just lost in peacetime just because the bird hit them. What happens is that when the bird flies and the aircraft goes and hits there, when it hits the engine part, the turbine engine blades break, and the broken blades break the rest of the engine, and then they plummet down and go. Unless the pilot manages to bail out, the whole thing is gone. So the government of India approached Bombay Natural Society asking, will you please help us with controlling the bird strike to aircraft? So at that time, Dr. Salim Ali felt that no, we cannot do it because this is not our study. We study only bird life, not aircraft. So that time I happened to come back from Gir Forest after doing my completion of my study on vultures. So I was looking at the data of the bird strikes. I found that majority of the major bird strikes are from vultures. I said, now I know these birds personally, let us help. Because they are not heavenly bodies, they are human, they're material, earthly bodies, so we can find a solution. So then the government of India spent money on the project called Ecological Control of Bird Hazard at Indian Aerodromes. And I studied with the help of my colleagues and all that to Indian airports all over India, right from Trivandrum all the way to Srinagar and east and west and everything. And gave a recommendation to the government, which they accepted for implementation under the 7th 5-year plan. So that was one of the successful studies I made. And also then afterwards, the Kuala Lumpur, the Malaysian government invited me to study the ecological aspects, the ecological impact of airport they're going to make, called the new International Kuala Lumpur Airport. So that also I studied. Anyway, my field work included a lot of things, like all of you people must be doing better than me now. That included just binoculars in the house, of course, in the office, microscope also. The field work included field observations, which you have to write down as notes, taking field notes, filling up forms in the field, and also sometimes tape recording with that recorders. And captive experiments also I did in the Gir forest. And specimen collecting was done whenever it was necessary, not all the time. This is my funny handwriting of those days in the field, taking field notes. One of the things I did was sitting on top of the hill for vulture census. I had to go to the top of a cliff and sit there in the deadly heat of Gir forest that goes in summer up to 49 degrees. With only a cap, without umbrella, stand there, not even sit, and look all around from morning 6 o'clock until evening 6 o'clock, taking food also while standing. And like that, I trained two other fellows to do the census in two different places in addition to what I was doing. Collected the data, did some statistics, and found out the population of vultures in that entire area. That's another story. Now, before I end, what I liked most about Dr. Salim Ali, I wanted to tell. What is great about this gentleman, I had an association with him for 28 years. His intellectual honesty, that was something very important. Intellectual honesty is, for once my wife and myself, we went to Tirunelveli, that Manusmani Sundarnar University. We were picking up from some thesis, some best ecological thesis to give an award. We went through the MSc thesis and PhD thesis, the entire lot we were looking through, and most of the time we could see that different titles and more or less the same data. I don't know how they managed to collect the data or not collect it, I don't know. So that is not intellectual honesty, that is intellectual plagiarism or cheating or whatever it is. Salim Ali will never do. Data had to be honest, accurate. If you collected inaccurate data, he said it's not a data at all, do not keep it. I liked him because that's what I liked it also, and I followed it. Of course, financial integrity was foremost there. So I was here with Dr. Salim Ali. You can hear me, I hope, all of you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
But wait, started. One more thing about Dr. Salim Ali was passion for birds. The first love he had for birds that lasted till the end of his life. All the time he would look at birds and enjoy them. Not that the bird had to be very beautiful looking bird. One day I saw him looking through binoculars and telling how wonderful, beautiful, in a small voice. I went and saw what bird he was looking. Can you guess what bird he was looking into the binocular? A common crow.
House crow.
People would think that one looks at peacock and other beautiful birds. But for him, everything was fascinating. And another thing was that he never got retired in his life. One day, I was going with him in Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary. That time he was asking me, Robert, you know why my people, many of my colleagues are dead and gone, and I am not dead so far? I asked him, sir, tell me what? He said, I never got retired, but they got retired. I continue my profession now. I mean, his fascination. And that was a lesson I learned from him.
Your dragonflies and dragonflies are similar insects. Now, they fly in air, but when they are small, in their larval condition, they are in water. So this is the larva. So you see that insect outside, its young stage is in water. Okay. Now here we see lots of fish. Okay, you don't know the sunflower. Oh, this is a prawn, shrimp. You see, like prawn, the white, this freshwater shrimp. Okay, it's a shrimp. Can you see here? See here, this side. Can you see, guys? Can you see? Huh? You can see now. So that's a shrimp. Your dragonflies are.
So, what is the takeaway from all these things? What I learned through all my lifetime, through the journey of with birds and people and life, I found certain things in which I could learn. And I thought I can pass it on to you young people also, because you will be the people leading the world. These amazing birds, these beautiful birds, look at it, how beautiful it is, how perfect it is. And such beautiful birds and other wildlife, and we the human beings, certainly did not appear by chance through mutation, trial and error, and natural selection, as the people with the theory of evolution keep harping about. And by God's grace, that remains only a theory, not a proved scientific fact. But they say that this all evolved through mutation and natural selection and through trial and error. How could it happen? Only there has to be a superpower who masterminded everything, then only it could be done. This is one of my takeaways. The song in the next slide may summarize my inner feelings when I was walking all alone through the primeval forest of the eastern Himalayas one day.
Place I wander. My Savior God to thee, how great thou art, how great thou art.
And we have been brought to this beautiful planet Earth to play a very specific role, individually and as a society. Birds and other wildlife have their own roles to play in the natural world, which they do very well. And we human beings also do our part in protecting these living things directly through safeguarding their natural
The participants, we have here a wonderful biography of Dr. Robert B. Graff, and happy to hear the words from him. Any questions? Interaction. Just interactions can start. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions to sir. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. If not, I'll start few questions with ma'am. Already sir spoke a lot. We can hear the words from Shailaja ma'am. Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear me? Shailaja ma'am, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear. Ma'am, can you tell us the nature education works a little bit what you have done in BNHS?
Oh, yes. Yes. Actually, I joined BNHS, Bombay Natural History Society, in the year 1967. And before that, I had done graduation from Bombay University. And zoology was one of my subjects, and I used to enjoy it really. And I used to, wonder who must be working in the museum or zoos, and it must be so wonderful. Can I continue?
Yeah, continue, ma'am.
And I got this appointment in Bombay Natural History Society. So Mudala, I was working for mammals department, but very soon I became the nature education organizer of the Bombay Natural History Society. And as part of my work as a nature education organizer, you saw in the some slides that I used to take school children out to the field to show them birds and small insects or animals or whatever it is, and talk about conservation of nature to create awareness about nature among the younger generation. Bombay has one added advantage that we used to have Victoria Garden, that is zoo, then museum, that is Prince of Wales Museum, where the natural history section is there. I used to take children. This type of different activities were there. So in addition to our field visits to Borivali National Park, where we used to see birds, animals, nature, all the talk about trees and even the insects and all these small things. Along with that, sometimes we used to have different activities like taking them to seashore also. கடல் கரையில போனாலும் எவ்வளோ இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் நேச்சர் எஜுகேஷன் செய்யலாம் தெரியுமா. சம்டைம்ஸ் யூ கேன் கோ தேர் பிகாஸ் கன்னியாகுமரி டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் ஆல்சோ we have கடல் பக்கத்திலே, so நிறைய shells and so many other things you can see and learn about that. So all this comes under nature, and then when we see all these things and when we talk about all these things, we learn to appreciate all the nature which God has created. So to create awareness, we used to have different activities like this. And sometimes I used to conduct some courses for seminars or workshops for biology teachers also. So different activities were there. And apart from that, some we used to have similar activities. We continued because I like nature, I like children, and we all used to take them to different places here, Kundakulam and then Manakudi Kayal, and so many places, Therur, Suchindram. Our Kanyakumari district is so beautiful, and as young children, you should learn to appreciate our nature. You should see all these things, and then you will learn to appreciate everything. So your Anthony sir is taking lot of efforts for you. Okay. Now
It's a very bad weather here. Big wind is going on. I think the wires are getting shaken outside and it's disrupting the connection. That's why it is happening. Sorry about it.
No issue, sir. We are blessed to have you here. And yeah, my dear participants, please interact with sir and ma'am. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. If not, again I'll start with my question to my guru, Dr. Robert B. Graham. Please unmute yourself and go ahead. You can ask your question, Aditya.
Yes, sir. You mentioned an island where you saw Nicobar pigeons, which the Navy was using for shooting practice, right, sir?
Yeah.
What's its name, sir?
BATTIMALVE.
So could you say that a bit slowly?
BATTIMALVE.
MALVE, yes, sir.
B without E.
Oh,
But
thank you, sir.
actually, it was quite a dangerous expedition I had. It's a rocky cliff actually all around. There was no landing place. And there's a deep the cracks underneath because of the erosion by the sea. So we could not land up there. So I had to, the Nicobaris boat people, they would take me up to this very close to the shore on the sea itself. And when the water level goes high, I had to jump onto the rock and then climb up and go away. And then again landing back also, when the boat comes higher up, at the nick of the time I had to jump out and come away. But it was worth all that, because when I went there, I could see beautiful birds there. And that was one Admiral Avati. Admiral Avati was that chief Navy officer there. He recommended that this area may be protected, so no shelling practice should be done there. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Amy, you can go with your question. Amy, Esther, please you can unmute yourself.
Ma'am, have you also gone through expeditions, or on what have you researched in your life? Maybe are you an environmentalist or a teacher on teaching about nature?
Yes, actually, I was also working in Bombay Natural History Society. நான் ரொம்ப expeditions அப்படி செய்யவில்லை, but I used to hold camps for students. Okay, so 2-3 days camps in wilderness to talk about nature, different aspects of nature. So this is not exactly a school teacher, connected with Bombay Natural History Society for environmental education.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, which topic have you researched in your life?
No, I did not do much research, but I always took children out in the wilderness to show them initially, to get them interested in doing further things. Okay, I did not do any research like Dr. Robert Grubb did about vultures, like that. This was only general topics about environment and conservation.
Amy, Esther, go ahead with your question. Please unmute yourself and ask. Amy, Esther, yeah, unmute yourself and ask the question.
Sir, have you ever worked with like small mammals and things? Or even big ones, but yeah, have you worked with mammals?
I worked only with the lion, not a small animal.
But when I was working actually in BNHS, I joined in mammals department. So Bombay Natural History Society has a lot of collection of all animals like mammals, birds, stuffed animals. Okay, and we used to have collection. We in Bombay Natural History Society there is large collection of stuffed birds, mammals, small and big mammals. Then even herpetological collection, insect collection. So we used to have regular maintenance also is necessary, and this type of reference collection is necessary for people who do further research if they want to refer to any specimens. So that collection is in the BNHS office.
Thank you.
Okay, Ramana, go ahead with your question, please.
Hello, sir. நான் ரமண கைலாஸ் பேசுறேன். சார், நீங்க அந்தமான் நிக்கோபார் போனதை பத்தி சொன்னீங்க. அது இன்னும் நீங்க என்னென்ன பேர்ட்ஸ் பாத்தீங்க, டிராவல் எப்படி இருந்துச்சு, கொஞ்சம் இதா சொல்ல முடியுமா சார்?
நம்ம ரமண கைலாஷா இது?
ஆமா சார்.
ஹாய், tell me the question.
ஹாய் சார். சார், அதான் சார், அந்தமான் நிக்கோபார் நீங்க எக்ஸ்பெடிஷன் போனதை பத்தி இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நிறைய சொல்லுங்க சார். ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா, எண்டமிக் நிறைய இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னீங்க.
எந்த
எண்டமிக் அனிமல்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்கும்னு சொன்னீங்க, பேர்ட்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்கும்னு சொன்னீங்க. கொஞ்சம் அதை பத்தி நீங்க போன எக்ஸ்பெடிஷன் பத்தி.
There's so many varieties of birds there, and this Narcondam hornbill is an endemic bird found only there, and that also in only one small island which is very close to the Burmese border actually. So we had to protect it also. So there was a naval force looking after it. And those people are eating these birds also sometimes. So to them, this is rare species, please do not eat it. And then they we put check and guard. After that, we inform the officials also. So then the naval staff themselves started protecting these birds, because these birds living there for so many years without natural enemies. There's no natural enemy there. They have no fear at all. I could go almost close to them and touch them almost about 10 feet. And then they were not flying away also. Then this Nicobar pigeon is something. That was good. And then there's one white imperial pigeon. That's also an endemic species for Andaman and Nicobars. So that was, again, I found in South Sentinel. Actually, I collected one young bird alive because it came out from the nest, it fell down. So I took it home and they called it Creamy and kept it with me for a while. And it used to come in the morning, early morning, wake me up by pinching my ear like this thing. And then I used to get idli and fruits for it, it would eat. Then it will go out in the morning and bask in the sun. Unfortunately, it was a bad naai vandu adu kadichu kondu pottu. So otherwise, then this
Yes, sir.
the power going away actually.
Yes, sir.
So then Car Nicobar is a beautiful island where there's no shark around that place, so we could swim and all. But Batimal, when we went there are huge sharks swimming down there also. And South Sentinel, Great Nicobar also, there are sharks there. And other than that, there are even, you know that Paradise Flycatcher, there were hardly any white forms. Most
Yes, sir.
brown birds, and they are breeding also in the broad plumage. But in India, usually it is that white plumage ones that are male that gets into the breeding level. Otherwise, it was going by boat, and then it was a hilarious thing, a very dangerous also, but very enjoyable, adventurous trip. But that also gave me malaria because that time there was no malaria known in Bombay. I came back infested with malarial fever, and they thought it was typhoid. They gave me all the chloramphenicol tablets and nearly killed me. And finally I came out of it, and then took homeopathy medicine for malaria, and then I got killed.
Sangeeta wants to ask.
Sangeeta, you want to ask something?
Thank you, sir.
Jershala, you can go ahead with your question. Jershala, you can unmute yourself. Yes, go ahead.
Sir, how many types of calls does the tailor bird have?
Oh, how many types of calls?
There is one tui, and that when there is a or something nearby, they start making alarm calls like tick 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 like that. Then there may be other beautiful calls also. I do not know. Have you heard many singing notes of this tailor bird?
Yes.
Tell me, please.
Like a chick there. Yes, like a chick. It sounds like kyang kyang.
Ah, very good. Quite good. I had a friend actually by name Mr. Kannan. He was one of the students of Dr. Salim Ali. We used to go into the jungle in Suryamal in Maharashtra and sit there in a corner, and then he would start whistling different tunes of birds, and the particular birds will come flying over him looking for it. He was very good with bird calls.
Wow. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Sankida, you are trying to ask something. Sankida, நீங்க unmute பண்ணி question கேட்கலாம் Sankida. Sankida, Shalini, you are trying to ask something. If not, I'll ask my question. Abu Rahid, you want to ask something? Abu Rahid? Abu Rahid, உங்களோட question கேட்கலாம். சார், என்னோட question, ஆண்டமன் பாஷா பத்தி உங்களோட நீங்களும் கண்ணன் சார் தானே ஒர்க் பண்ணீங்க, அதை கொஞ்சம் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் சொல்லலாமா சார்? Andaman Basa.
Andaman?
Basa.
Andaman what?
Andaman Basa, a raptor.
Oh.
Yes.
So that is one new subspecies we found out there actually. Aviceira leufortis, if I remember. I forgot the name also.
Okay, sir.
That was collected and then brought to Bombay Natural History Society. And then we found that it was slightly different. I forget the exact differences actually. Then the person whom I went with was Mr. Humayun Abdul-Ali. He was the expedition leader. And he wanted to give my name for that subspecies. I said no names to be given. Only give the subspecies, the scientific name you give. So then he called, I forget the name also now, subspecies. You remember the subspecies name?
No, sir. Sorry, sir. I couldn't remember. Only the common name.
Okay. But it's a very beautiful bird.
Yes, sir.
We also used to see small mini falcons there.
Yeah, I have seen the Andaman Basa with Robert B. Grubb at the end in description name.
Okay. And we used to see the giant tortoises, green tortoises, turtles, giant green turtles nesting there in South Sentinel Island. They would come to the sea, shore to lay eggs. That time we used to look at them very close. Then in that island also, that marsh monitor lizard, the biggest size, not Komodo dragon, but it's a very big, about 6 feet long. It was so huge it has grown to. It used to thrive on crabs in that island. Another one we saw was robber crab. Robber crab was the one, it's also called coconut crab. It's a big crab. It could climb up the coconut tree, bring down the shells and crack it open and eat that kernel in that.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to ask your questions? Anyone else in the group want to interact with the sir or ma'am? Yeah, Amy, go ahead.
Here in Chhattisgarh, they actually eat like jungle cats. So is it right to eat them?
What's that about jungle cat?
Here, sometimes people catch them and eat them.
To catch them and eat them must be targeted.
Oh, jungle cat, yeah, people do eat actually. It's a big cat and you have to trap it to catch it actually, but it's all protected by Wildlife Act actually. After 1972, you have Wildlife Protection Act. So you should be eating them actually. People do eat though. It's found in Kanyakumari district very much, even Thoothukudi and Tirunelveli districts also.
I think 2 days back, I came across one.
You saw any
It was small.
She came across.
you saw someone killing it?
No, I came face to face with it.
Oh, how was it?
It was fairly small, but it didn't run away. It was looking at me, and then it suddenly just showed its teeth to me. Then I got scared, and I just walked off.
Very beautiful animal. Quite big also, and very alert. Where did you see it?
There's actually a canteen here, so I was just walking to it to get my parents, and then I just came and was going across, and I was like, wow.
Oh. Which place, location?
Actually, it's quite a remote location, but in Chhattisgarh, a village called Jagdishpur.
I see.
Here we have mongoose and all that.
Yeah, here also we have jungle cat.
Jungle cat.
So you're speaking all the way from Chhattisgarh?
Yes.
Oh.
Anything else, Semi, you want to ask, sir? Or any?
No.
Which biodiversity hotspot do you like the most?
Oh,
Question again.
Which biodiversity hotspot do you like the most?
Actually, it is difficult to tell which one is better than the other, because when I went through this the eastern Himalayas, right into the jungle, where there no human beings were there, and so many species of birds there, and also eastern Himalayas, the Arunachal Pradesh. One day I was walking through the streams, actually, I could see 4 different species of forktail. Forktail is Google, you'll find out Forktail. 4 species together, just feeding. At the same time, there's a dipper, and there's a whole the Hulak gibbon, and so many varieties of birds. And the jungle was dark one side, and I was coming down there, and I saw that forest is getting cleared because the government of India had made it into So the Union Territory became a state, Arunachal Pradesh, and the Chief Minister started having these plywood factories to chop down trees. I felt very bad. I said it should have been preserved all the time, like the British people did, protected it. So now also there is a lot of good areas there. Then Andamans got wonderful biodiversity spots, actually, and
Borneo.
yeah, Lanjak and Timor has got a biodiversity spot. In India itself, that our Nilgiris is a wonderful place, actually. I used to go sit inside under that Shola forest. I don't know if you heard of Shola forest. It's a place where the grasslands and Shola forests are there, and many Sholas together create water system that comes down as the upper Bhavani river. So that area has got also varieties of bird species, including that black and orange flycatcher, which is endemic to that area. So like that, you cannot pick and choose which place is better than the other, actually.
Thank you, sir. Preeti, your question? Preeti?
Sir, does bird live in? Yes, sir. Sir, does bird live in colder region?
Don't hear you actually well.
Then again.
Preeti, your question again, please. Preeti, your question again, please. If not, Shivapriya, go ahead with your question.
Sir, on which type of landform have you researched more about, like swamps, marshes, forests, mountains, like that? Which type of landform have you researched more about? In that type, which thing you like the most?
Wetlands are beautiful, and the rainforest is very good, actually. Even here also in Kanyakumari district, that some areas are still there without rubber plantation. They're very good, actually. So the tropical forests are really good in India. In Sarawak, there's a very good, excellent natural forest, actually, which I like, but then I don't like it also because that leeches keep eating you all the time. If you sit in one place, your legs will be fully covered with leeches, just drawing blood from you all the time. But in India, many forests, you don't see, there are leeches, but not such a big problem there. And I like Gir forest also because where I was there 2 years, it's a dry desert, deciduous forest, actually. And the lions are there, and we could go into the forest and stay there. And sometimes I used to do what at night time when everybody went to sleep, I used to take a motorcycle and go deep into the jungle There's a small shed, thatched shed with the sticks. I used to push the motorcycle inside, lie down there and go to sleep. And night time, you could hear the leopard howling around, and all it has to do was just give one small push and the hut will fall down, but it won't come out. Then I would come out at night time and smell that lovely flowers, that Carissa carandas flower in bloom, smelling, wafting into the slow night sky, and this leopard going around, and a distant lion growling. All that was so exhilarating. So there is very any place where there is no human being is safe and beautiful. I've seen the lion within 20 feet distance and stood there, and they didn't mind me at all. But if you see a human being all alone in the forest or anywhere, girls better be very careful. Even men also. So natural wilderness without human beings is a lot more safe and very enjoyable anywhere.
Sir, doubt, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, there is a lizard called Udumbuno, sir. They will eat it and all. What is that species, sir?
It is called Varanus monitor lizard. It is a protected species actually. It cannot be killed nowadays. And that's the one that I found in South Sentinel Island. That was about as long as about 6 feet long, including tail to head. It's grown very big, but that's Varanus salvator. And what we get in India is, in mainland India, is Varanus monitor. That's a common monitor lizard.
But sometimes they sell.
Okay, sir.
That
is illegal.
Sir.
Ramana, go ahead.
சார் இந்தியன் பிட்டா நீங்க குலசேகரத்துல சின்ன வயசுல பார்த்ததா சொன்னீங்க சார். இப்ப இந்தியன் பிட்டா கன்னியாகுமரியில எங்கேயாவது பார்க்க முடியுமா? அது என்னோட லைஃபர் பேர்ட்.
Actually, the bird has got a local migration from North India to South India, and they come during winter time to South, and then they also go into Sri Lanka, and they try to go through some promontories. Instead of flying long distance, they go up to Point Kalimere, Kodikkarai, and from there they jump into Sri Lanka, and there they call these birds Kathalachi, because it comes in Kathu. During winter time it comes. And in Kanyakumari district also we have seen it actually, but you'll have to see it during winter time actually. They come in migration, southward migration going to Sri Lanka. So watch out for it, you will see it. Very beautiful. My God,
yes,
the age of 5, I mean 5th class. I was
10
years old. Still I remember the bird.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
yes, Kriba.
Which is your favorite bird?
Oh, which is your favorite bird?
Oh. Well, I could say that the creamy was my very favorite bird. Creamy was that pied imperial pigeon we collected as a young bird from South Sentinel Island, where it fell down from the nest, it didn't go back. So it was with me all the time. And I told you that it would come and early morning when I wake up, it would come and it would wake me up by pinching my ear, asking for idli or fruits. I used to give that. So that was my favorite bird.
So what was its name again?
Pied imperial pigeon. It's a black and white bird.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Adityan.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, dear participants. We had an amazing interaction session, though we troubled Sarah and ma'am a lot. Sorry for troubling you, sir. Please apologize. And this is the time for the vote of thanks. And I call Dr. Solomon Kriba to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony.
Yes.
என்னுடைய அறிவியல் மற்றும் வாழ்வியல் வழிகாட்டியாக திகழ்ந்த மதிப்பிற்குரிய ஐயா டாக்டர் ராபர்ட் கிரப் அவர்களுக்கு நன்றி சொல்வது எனக்கு கிடைத்த மிக பெரும் பாக்கியமாக எண்ணுகிறேன். குமரி முதல் இமயம் வரை பறவையாய் வலம் வந்து மாந்தர்களுக்கு பறவைகளை காட்டி மனிதனிடமிருந்து பறவைகளை மீட்க சரணாலயங்கள் அமைத்து கடல் கடந்து தேசம் பல சென்று சரித்திரம் பல புரிந்த நம் மதிப்பிற்குரிய ஆசிரியர் அறிவியல் ஆய்வாளர் டாக்டர் ராபர்ட் பி கிரப் மற்றும் சைலஜா ஆர் கிரப் அவர்களுக்கு இந்த வர்ச்சுவல் வைல்ட் ஏற்றி குழுமத்தின் சார்பாக நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். அவர்களை குறித்து வேகமாக 4 வார்த்தைகளில் சொல்ல விரும்புகிறேன். அவர்கள் பறவைகளை பற்றி கற்றுத்தரும் போது பறவைகள் குளோபல் சிட்டிசன் என்று சொல்லுவார்கள். அவர்கள் இங்க இருக்கிற பேர்ட்ஸ் வந்து ஆர்டிக்ல இருந்து வரக்கூடிய பேர்ட்ஸ நீ ஏன் இங்க வந்தா நீ கேட்கறது இல்லை. அப்புறம் கலர் வச்சு இவரு உயர்ந்த பறவை தாழ்ந்த பறவை என்று சொல்வதும் இல்லை. சார் கூட சொல்லும் போது ஃபேவரட் பேர்டு வந்து கலர்ஃபுல்லா இல்லை, ஆனா அவர்களோட அன்போடு பழகிய அந்த பறவையை குறித்து சொன்னார்கள். சார் வந்து ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள், ஒரு சிறந்த செல்ஃப்லெஸ் மேனுக்கு ஒரு சிறந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள். அப்புறம் அவரு எப்பவுமே ஹி கம்ஃபர்ட் அதர்ஸ் த்ரூ கரெக்ஷன். டைரக்டா ஐ டு ஐ சொல்லிடுவார். எந்த தவறு என்றாலும் தவறை நேராக சுட்டி காட்டுவார்கள். ஸ்ட்ரைட் ஃபார்வர்ட். யாருமே முதுகுக்கு பின்னால் பேசுவது அவருடைய பழக்கமே கிடையாது. அதனால நிறைய பேருக்கு குறைகளை உணரும் போது குறைகள் கண்களுக்கு முன்னால் சொல்லப்படும் போது அநேகருக்கு அது விருப்பமாக இருப்பதில்லை, கசப்பாக இருக்கும். ஆனால் அது மூத்தோர் சொல்லும் முதுநெல்லிக்கனியும் முன்பு கசக்கும் பின்பு இனிக்கும் என்பார்களே, அந்த வார்த்தைகளுக்கு ஐயா சொந்தக்காரர். அப்புறம் அவங்கள்ட்ட எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது என்னன்னா பேசியன்ஸ் அண்ட் பெர்சிஸ்டன்ஸ். கன்னியாகுமரியில அந்த ராம்சார் சைட்டுக்காக எத்தனையோ வருடங்களாக போராடி கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் அதுல இருந்து துளிய அடவு கூட பின் வாங்கவில்லை. அதுவும் ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமா இருக்கும். யாருமே அவர்களை சில நேரம் மறந்து விட்டாலும் அவர்கள் தங்களுடைய பணியை செய்து கொண்டே இருப்பார்கள். அப்புறம் யூத் எல்லாம் அவர்கள்ட்ட போனா சில கேள்விகள் கேட்பார்கள். ஆண்டனி சார் கூட முதல்ல சொன்னாரு, அவர்களுடைய கேள்விகள் நம்மை வந்து திரும்ப திங்க் பண்ண வைக்கும், ரீதிங்க் பண்ண வைக்கும், சரியான பாதையில் நம்மை சரி செய்துவிடும். அவர் கேட்கிற கேள்விகளை நம்மை சரி செய்துவிடும். ஒரே ஒரு குறைதான், அவர் பிறந்த மண்ணிற்கு பணியாற்ற எல்லாவற்றையும் துறந்து வந்தார். ஆனால் பிறந்த மண்ணில், குமரி மண்ணில் அவரை சரியாக பயன்படுத்தவில்லை என்கிற கவலை எங்களுக்கு உண்டு. அவருடைய மாணவர்களாக நாங்கள் அநேக முறை அவருடைய மனம் நோகும்படியும் நான் நடந்திருக்கிறேன். அதற்காகவும் நான் இந்த வேளையிலே அவரிடம் மன்னிப்பு கோருகின்றேன். முக்கியமாக அவர்கள் சொன்ன ஒரு காரியம், மனிதனின்றி இயற்கையால் வாழ முடியும், ஆனால் இயற்கையின்றி மனிதர்களாகிய நம்மால் வாழ முடியுமா? அப்புறம் அந்த டேக்அவே மெசேஜா சொன்ன சுப்ரீம் பவர், அந்த பெர்ஃபெக்ஷன், இது எல்லாமே நிச்சயமாக எவல்யூஷனால முடிகிறதற்கு வாய்ப்பில்லை. இதையெல்லாம் நாம் நினைவிலே சுமந்து தொடர்ந்து நம் வாழ்க்கை பயணத்தை தொடர்வோம். ஒரு விசை கூட ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு என் நன்றியை காணிக்கையாக்குகிறேன். நன்றி.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Kruba. We didn't know that you are there all the time. So wonderful. And thank you, Professor.
We are thankful to you, sir.
How to see these children in person. Please organize program.
Yeah, surely, sir. We were talking about this when we were in the Abzen network problem. We were discussing. Sir, kita kandipa request pannuven sollirukren. We had promised. If time permits, we will all meet together in a field trip. So, you will accept wholeheartedly. எங்களுக்காக ப்ளீஸ் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். சந்தோஷம் சார், நீங்களாவே கேட்டது இன்னும் ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சியா இருக்கு எங்களுக்கு. Thank you so much for your very kind words, Kribana. ரொம்ப அருமையான மனதோட ஆழத்துல இருந்து நீங்க தேங்க் பண்ணீங்க. We are blessed to have you, sir, and as a student we are here to carry your words. என்னால முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி we will carry. So one thing I want to remind, and we are taking the conservation education from your point of view. நீங்க எங்களுக்கு கத்து கொடுத்தது, நீங்க என்ன காமிச்சு கொடுத்தீங்களோ அந்த வழியில தான் நாங்க போயிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending such a long 2.5 hours with us. In this age also you are with us energetically, and you are still youth, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let us, yeah. Let us all, thank you, sir. Tell ma'am.
Like to see them.
And apologize for that
sorry
internet
for
problem. Sorry about it.
No issues, sir. It is not a problem at all. It is part of any virtual programs. So it is not only for you. It is everywhere. It is there. So you need not regret for it. So we are very happy. We are very blessed. We are very fortunate to have you in our virtual world program. Thank you so much. On behalf of all our participants, millions of thanks to you again. Thank you, sir.